Be quiet. As soon as I turn the camera on, it's like there's an automatic switch behind the ears and the dogs start barking. Well, we've just been out and we went out to harvest, right? Well, I'm a foreigner, so when people talk about a harvest, I think of some great thing that's going to take all day or 2 days or 3 days, and you'll be cutting acres down, or at least a couple of tons. But it's not like that at all. We've been out and we've harvested, what is it, ube?
Yeah,
Ubi. And well, I hardly need to tell you what ubi is. Certainly, we had a video. We had a video which showed a tasting of it, and actually, it doesn't taste bad at all. But it just shows. Well, let me show you what it looks like. This is what we got. So this is obviously only half of what was there. Now my question to Beth, and some questions you've got to understand that you will never get an answer, because they give an answer to another question. So like if I say to Beth, is the memory stick in the camera? She'll say the camera is there. I say, yeah, but is the stick in there? She said, the camera is there. I said, okay, you still haven't answered the question that I asked, which was, is the stick in the camera? The camera is there. The camera is complete. So it's like, it obviously is a thing of the language, which is another reason why I should be working hard at the language, and I'm not. I'm a hypocrite. But my other question when out there was, why would anybody end up knowing that something like this that's buried under the ground is good to eat? You know, it's one of those things, isn't it, that we always hear about survival, people who are good on survival saying, yeah, they could survive on roots, and it was never real to me about surviving on roots. What the hell would you, how would you know where? I mean, Beth looked around the ground, and then in a piece of ground that looked exactly like the next bit of ground, she started digging, and sure enough, she finds this. Well, this turned out to be only half, or maybe even less than half, of what was there. And when it's peeled like a potato, it can be eaten. And I tried to get an answer to this question. Beth, how would you know that this was under the ground? Because I've been doing it since I was a child. Well, that's the answer to the question, how long have you been doing this? But no. Because I've been, and I said, yes, but how would you know? Because Nanai told me. But how did Nanai know? Well, it turns out that maybe I'm the one that's being pedantic about this. But this is survival at its absolute minimal, its most basic, of having no food, and you can go out with a bolo and you can dig in the earth. It's not something that you planted, and you can find this big chunk of disgusting looking stuff. It doesn't even look like a nice potato. It's... And you can know that you can survive on this. So this would actually feed a family. And Beth's answer is, we know to dig for that if we don't have any rice. So it just gives me pause to think that, in fact, out here we are much more fortunate in almost every way during this quarantine. Now, you will have seen on other videos that I can take a walk, and I don't invite the dogs to go with me, but I will end up possibly having all 6 dogs follow me, and they'll keep me company. Now, admittedly, some of them will flake on the walk, and they'll only stay for half and then they'll disappear, and they don't say goodbye. But Red and Poggy always stay with me. They are my dogs. I actually finally took ownership of those 2 dogs. They're the big dogs, which we actually bought. We bought Red from the vet, thinking, and Red was pre-ordered when he was in during the mother's pregnancy, and it was only when he was born that they realized that somebody, some tourist guy, some tourist visitor, okay, had gotten in while the door was open, and Red is one of the puppies from that, and certainly he is not an American Bulldog, but the mother was. It was a fine looking dog, and we absolutely loved the idea of having an American Bulldog. So anyway, that didn't happen, but we got Red, and we loved Red, and he's such a terrific dog. And so we had him fixed, and he came with all of the jabs that he needed and so on. So he's in good shape. He wouldn't let us mess about with his ears, even though they were full of ticks. So we actually had to get 1 pill. 1 pill cost 650 pesos, which, when you think of it, 1 pill, which was as big as my thumbnail, 650 pesos. But anyway, shouldn't complain, because no sooner had he taken it and digested it, and it had gone into the bloodstream, than the ticks decided that they would relocate to some other animal. So now he's very good, and he's much happier actually. And of course Poggy as well. Poggy came, let me see, Poggy came from the post office. I went in the post office, and there was a Poggy dog, puppy, very tiny puppy. I didn't buy that puppy, but this is when we weren't really thinking about buying a dog, because the puppies arrive all the time. We actually have 4 puppies right now. And Nana couldn't believe, you paid for a dog? You gave money for a dog? Yeah, she couldn't get it. But anyway, we didn't dare tell her what we paid for Ryder. So I can go, I've meandered again, haven't I? I can go for a walk, I can go for a long walk, you know, go for a 2 or 3 or maybe 4 mile walk, and the dogs come with me, and I have company, and often I do a video and meander around as I wander around, and our life is actually very pleasant. But we also can decide just to plant something, and as we often do, in spite of what you think or what some of the compulsive planters in our audience think, we actually do plant things, vegetables, so that we can eat. We have coconut, we have pineapple, a little bit more rare on the pineapple, but we have banana, we have sweet potato, we have some other stuff that grows on trees. I'm not a farmer, so I don't know the name of everything. And we even have this latest thing which I was forced to eat. Not really forced. I took a bite, and actually it didn't taste bad. So we'll have that again. It will be chopped about and take that thick, almost like a bark off it rather than skin. And because the houses around us are all family, we really don't have to be keeping ourselves away from anybody. We actually don't come into close contact anyway, other than Lena and Nanai and Teliklik and sometimes Bibi. That is almost it. So during this time of quarantine, we think of ourselves as very fortunate, even though lots of other people who actually, in fairness, wouldn't suit this kind of life at all, they look at it and think that we're deprived because we're having to eat very simple food. But we're not short of food. So it is actually a very good life, and I like to describe it so: I'm where I want to be. I am where I want to be, and I'm living a life that I love. Now, if you're watching this and you can honestly say that, then boy, we're both lucky. But meantime, I think that most of the OFWs, no matter where they are, I think, not all, but I think most, will be looking at our little treks around the surrounding hillside and thinking of when they were children and when they lived in this kind of situation. If I just show you what I can see as I look around now. So this is our little porch. We put that bamboo up so that the dogs would not take residence here. And obviously we have Pogi there, and we have Turtle, the cat, and that's our little confinement area for Ryder, which sometimes if we need to get out